Rightio, Campbell's comments getting out and about for Nutrien. I tell you what, I'm on the way to Tamworth and I thought I'd just do a little drive by and a bit of a stop off and call in and see one Ben Settree. Benny, how are you?
Yeah, good, Paul. Yeah, thanks for coming.
Settree? I just had to say that for D Miles because there'd be every chance he'd be sitting back watching this. He'll be a little bit jealous of me being sitting here in Bathurst. He'll be looking forward to it a little bit later on in the year. It's a bit of a regular, I suppose, trip of his. But one, beautiful farm, beautiful garden. I've got to say well done to Mum. This is a sensational garden here.
Yeah, Janet takes great pride in a garden. She puts a lot of time and effort into it and it does come up really good.
Pretty warm day and we're stuck here under the shade. There could be worse places to be and go. Well, I'm here, I suppose, on the road to Tamworth for Nutrien, and they've got their classic camp draft on at the minute, plus the standardbred rehoming, which is just huge. And I encourage everyone to log on to the Nutrien Performance Horse Facebook page. It's Nutrien Equine Performance Horse, and get the live feed there and be able to follow it. There's going to be lots going on. I'll be pumping up a bit of it too because it's really, really key for our industry, I think, going forward. I'm catching up with this man. One, you've been keeping an eye on what they've been doing?
Yeah, look, I think it's fantastic, Paul. They're really doing a good job. I think it's showcasing our horses and what they can do. You know, they're not just a purpose-bred horse for the racetrack. You know, so these guys will get a hands-on view of them. A lot of people up there will be exposed to them, and hopefully it creates a life after racing for some of these horses.
Yeah, and we all think that's key, and I think it's just something different, and it's something that Nutrien are really bringing to harness racing. Some different things, which I really like. Different things this year. February 20 will be the Nutrien Equine Standardbred sale at Warwick Farm, which is just up the road. What, 3 and a bit hours?
Yeah, it's only over the hill. It's not far away by the crow flies, but when you got to wind through the mountains, it's about 3 hours. 3 hours drive, but you're looking forward to it. I suppose, like last year, it was a big commitment from you guys to travel all the way to Melbourne to sell. This year, playing at home, you're looking forward to that? Yeah, not having to take them down there. You know, it's a lot less stressful, the risk of loading horses and putting them on a truck for 8 hours. You know, unbroken yearlings to send them to Melbourne was a real challenge for us. We've done it before, but not on the scale that we did. We've taken horses down to Melbourne, sold 6 or 7 kind of thing, but yeah, to take 24 or 25, whatever we had last year, was a logistical nightmare, but we managed and we had a reasonably good sale and thought the concept of what Nutrien brought to the table was fantastic. The experience, the atmosphere, you know, the presentation, all of that was beyond reproach. You know, it was fantastic. So hopefully they'll generate that again in Sydney.
Before you go too far with the presentation, how many dresses has Mel got picked out this year, and how much time? Because I tell you, there's a couple of short little stops. Like if she's going to be able to get changed in a hurry for to change it up.
Yeah, we've got a few running lots there at various stages, and to be honest, I don't even know. You know, it's a closely guarded secret.
She did a great job last year, and I think it was, you know, and she actually, you know, bought in on it a little bit too, because I think people were starting to play up to it and all the rest, and she got involved, which is key. It's one of the things. It's fun. This sales complex is fun. The sale idea is fun.
Yeah, and that's what Nutrien have made it. You know, they've put on a carnival atmosphere for it, and it's fantastic. You know, and I can see the Nutrien concept growing to the point where people are going to, even if they're not buying a horse that particular year, it's going to become an event where they say, oh, it's Nutrien next week, we better go. So, you know, full credit to Mark and his team for creating that environment.
In and around here in Bathurst, Bathurst has a sale as well every year, and I think you've got a couple going through that, and I'll probably be doing something for them as well, promoting it a little bit closer. But it's a very heavy harness racing, I suppose, region. What's the feedback like? Is there people excited about it? Yeah,
we've had people come and look at the horses already, you know, which is not traditionally this far out from the sales. They normally wait a bit longer. I had a bunch of guys ring me on Thursday to say, can we come and do, you know, a tour next week. So yeah, no, the hype's building. As you said, Bathurst extremely strong in the harness racing world, and that's why we moved to Bathurst. You know, Doug and Janet were up at Scone, at a little place called Aberdeen, and they came to Bathurst purely because where they were, although it was great horse country, it was thoroughbred country. They were sort of stuck in the middle of nowhere, and they looked for a property for quite some time until they found this one that has, you know, they've set up and it's run exclusively for horses.
Yeah, and predominantly to raise to sell. You do sometimes maintain a couple, unfortunately, because they might not reach the mark, or other reasons. They may not even go through the sale because of reasons. But predominantly, you guys are sellers. Like 99% of your stock would be for sale.
Yeah, look, I train a small team, and people know that. For a select group of clients, we might keep the occasional filly that, an old brood mare that's done a great job, great family. We might keep a mare out of her. But yeah, predominantly we are there to meet the market, and I think that's where a lot of buyers come back to us and say, well, we know when we bid on yours that they're genuinely for sale.
Absolutely. This year, you said last year about a big draft. You had 24. You got one more this year. They're all still in at the minute. I think I counted 25.
Yeah, I think there's 25 catalogue, but we're down one. So I think we're back to 24 at this stage. 24.
Which one's out?
One last kiss.
Right.
Yeah, the owners have decided to keep it.
Okay, that's all and good and well. Is it a filly?
Yeah, that was a filly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was hoping it might have been.
She was lot 32A. She actually
was a late up.
Bit of a mix up in the way it went in the catalogue. So we're
back in there now. That makes it then, from my counting, 13 colts and 11 fillies, I reckon. So you're just going to have to believe me, Benny. I can see your eyes are rolling back in your head. You'll have to say
90% sure that's right.
Which makes interesting, like we were talking on the way up here, it makes your draft very interesting, doesn't it? Because you have a high volume of fillies, and you've got some really intriguingly bred fillies. A couple that really, when I looked at them, I was like, wow, look at those. A couple out of Mac-free mares by some really nice sires.
Yeah, we've always tried to maintain a horse for all aspects of the market, and it's got harder and harder to keep that mid to low range horse, for people to buy. But we've always had, great families, and tried to sort of pick and stay in the right families and breed to the right stallions for commercial purposes.
And that's always a juggle, isn't it? And making sure you can keep ahead of the curve, I suppose, and picking the right horses.
Yeah, it's really hard because the decisions we make today don't realise the sale ring until nearly 2 years' time. So picking a horse today that is going to be the flavour of the month in 2 years' time is really quite challenging.
Rego Miss and then Lady Athena. There's a couple related very closely to that, but Max Delight, one, you guys must be wrapped, one with the job that he's doing. Victoria Cup winner last season. He probably was on his best behaviour last start at the Ballarat Cup, but overall he's just a champion horse, and just one of those horses you guys can hang your hat on, saying that we were able to sell him, and look at what he's been able to achieve. Yeah,
he's done a great job. Full credit to the camp. They've done a terrific job, placed him well. As you said, fired up last start and was a little bit disappointing given the
very uncharacteristic for him.
Yeah, look, once he got on a helmet he wasn't too bad, but the damage had already been done by that stage. But yeah, we still hold the Australian record with him. He was sold 245,000. So you don't get that sort of coin if you're not an impressive customer, and he was very impressive in the Saturday.
Do you ever go and see him? Like, have you been back to see him at the races?
Oh, if I go to the races and he's there, yeah, I'll go up and see him and give him a pat. Yeah,
he's still that impressive horse.
Yeah,
I don't know more than a horse with Dave Aiken one day about him after he won one of the big races in Melbourne, and he's got a bit of character about him. Though.
Yeah, he's a customer, a cool customer, all right. He's a lovely horse, and yeah, we were surprised at the price he brought. I'll be honest, but I thought he'd top the sale, but yeah, he blew us out of the water with how far they went for him. Yeah. It just takes two to get after him,
Your draft this year, do you have one of those, do you think?
Don't know that we've got a top price horse like that, to blow an Australian record out of the water, but we've got some really nice horses. In particular, I really like the Captain Treacherous filly out of the Arch Nemesis, half to Crunch Time and Captain Crusade, and the 2-year-old called Our Redemption, hopefully she'll race before the sales, and she's showing above average ability, so she should be winning before the sales, and then we're at the mercy of the bidders then.
Yeah, and be able to get out. And Treacherouses have been incredibly well received this year. Any of the Sons of Sun Beach Somewhere, they really are the flavour of the month. They have for the last year, and already started off on the right foot this year as well.
Yeah, they are, and look, down by the seaside, results in Brisbane last week was astronomical. As you said, Captain Treacherous has been the flavour for the last year or so, a couple of years. But any of those Sons of Sun Beach seem to be doing the job.
You got one out of a mare by Sun Beach Somewhere as well, which throws up a little bit of intrigue. It's one of the ones later, and I'm not going to ask you which one. Oh, you know which one it is.
My Banker's Pride is she's a Sun Beach Somewhere mare, and she's got a betting line. So that makes it very closely related to David Thorne's good filly Atonia, similar breed. Her mother, Perfect Penny's a Christian Cullen, and by Bettor's Delight, Antonia that is. So this one being out of a Sun Beach somewhere, half sister to Perfect Penny by Betting Line, very closely related. And I've also got Lady Shakira, a daughter of Lady Athenia.
Yep.
Now, she's a Sun Beach somewhere. She only had 1 start, 1 win, and it's a Betting Line as well. And we deliberately went to Betting Line on the basis of Max Delight.
Yep, with a Bettor's Delight cross. Yeah, and to go that way. And it throws up a lot of interest when you see Sun Beach Bettor's Delight in a couple of yours as a second, second sires, the size of the dam and the sire. Sorry, it really is intriguing when you look at the catalogue and what they might be able to produce one on the racetrack. But with those fillies, especially later on in the broodmare barn.
Yeah, that's right. It's. I guess our Waikiki Beach was the first one to sort of come to mind. Bettor's Delight, Sun Beach Somewhere Cross. He was probably the star of his generation or his crop that, that cross started to work really well. There was half a dozen in America that were sensational on a similar cross. So hopefully it works for us too. We sort of breed with the view of that foal going on and being a good racehorse and making the mare, enhancing that pedigree.
Are you a breeding nut?
I wouldn't say I'm a breeding nut. I'd follow it a little bit, but I'm not. Certainly not. Religiously in the books for it. Yeah,
and you well and truly know your own pedigrees. But yeah, some people, everyone does it a little bit differently. Some people you can talk to them and they'll just rattle off anyone going through. It's quite interesting. And then I was listening to you. Then you definitely know your own breed. There's not a worry there in the world.
Yeah, look, when you got to take them to the sale and talk to people about them, you've got to know what you've got. I follow a lot of the families. You can talk to me about other people's breeds and whatever, and I can tell you, or whose barn they've come from or whatever. But am I a religious freak on the brooding? No, I don't think so. There's a lot more that put a lot more effort into it than I do.
Timing can be everything. We spoke there before about Sweet Lou. One of the fillies out of them. I think, right at the minute, they're sort of nearly at the top of everyone's pecking order after what Spirit of St. Louis has been able to do lately, plus a few of the others, and both sides, not just of the ditch, but also in North America. They're really, you mentioned there before about Antonia. You said you're sort of saying that there's a 2-year-old unraced. Do you hope that they come along just prior to the sale and can sort of spark it up? Is that one of the things as a breeder that you're secretly hoping and fingers crossed that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And we try to keep I try to keep a record of who bought what from last year and follow up with them, and so that I can utilise that little bit of information and pass it on to a potential buyer that this one's doing something, or that one, and this one's showing promise with, whether it be David Aiken or whoever it might be, Milesy or,
yep.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Because Antonia last year, if anyone's wondering, it just came along at the right time for a few people. There was quite a few had horses related very closely to her and our sisters to her, and she just started doing everything right for everyone. Yeah. and put the writing on the wall. And she's a filly not to be forgotten about either, because there's a lot of her crossovers with her coming through. We're going to do a little bit of a highlight of a couple of them. Which ones has Mel picked out to parade, do you know? Yeah,
I think she's going to bring out the Captain Treacherous filly. She's probably the star of certainly of our fillies. And if anyone was looking for a filly that was, as you rightly pointed out earlier in the conversation, if anyone was looking for a filly that's going to make it A, on the racetrack, and B, as a broodmare, I'd strongly encourage people to be looking at her, in particular. But we have horses sort of in all categories, and as you rightly pointed out, we've got a couple that are really well bred, slightly immature. That Sweet Lou filly's one out of Stylish Boulevard. She's going to be a ripping sort, but she's probably three months behind in maturity of some of the others. So, a good horseman will look at her and go, yeah, imagine what she looks like in 3 months. And she probably doesn't bring the really top coin that some that are more further advanced than her at the sale day probably bring. So she's a chance of being a great dual purpose filly.
It probably changes a little bit too, because of our racing calendar has changed. So I mean, like in years gone by, they had to be racing. You buy them in February, and you're hoping you might be able to get them racing sort of, well, initially it was always September, but it ended up being sort of November and then December. Whereas now the first 2-year-old, I think, is next Tuesday at in Sydney. I think Perth's had a couple. Victoria, I don't think have had any just yet. So you say about that immaturity, but people have got to realise they've got another 6 to 7, 8 months on top of them now than what they would have had 2 and 3 years ago when they went to a sale.
And really, you've probably got more if you take Bathurst out of it. Bathurst being the first feature race in March. And not every horse is up and going early. So then the next feature race, I think, really the next feature race is Nutrien race, which is August at this stage. It may move, but at this stage it's going to be run in August. And then the into the various state futurities, the breeders, the sire stakes and whatever, and then into the Breeders' Crown later in the year. So, yeah, if you didn't necessarily have your heart set on racing at Bathurst, then you've got another 6 months on top of what you just said.
Yep.
You've probably got another 15 months from sale to when you really need them to be shaping up. So a little bit of immaturity at this stage is nothing down the track.
How many of yours are paid up for the size? For the Bathurst series?
Yeah, everything will be in Bathurst.
Yep.
Most of them, if they're Vicbred eligible, if they buy a Vicbred stallion, they'll be eligible except for those that were frozen, the captains and the betting lines. All the art majors are, and then everything's sort of paid up for the New South Wales Breeders' Challenge.
That's key. So there's a lot of bonuses on offer there for these horses, plus the rich series that they're eligible now for with the with Nutrien going forward in 2023 and then 2024 with the race series that they've got as well as on top of that.
Yeah, that's right. So you've got Bathurst, you've got Nutrien, you've got Breeders' Crown. They're all Breeders' Crown. You've got the various state ones, whether it be New South Wales or they're all New South Wales, and then some are Vicbred as well.
They've got the double of the Victorian on top of that.
Yep.
So that's key. I'm just actually trying to, so in the 2023, so any of the fillies or colts and geldings, 2 separate races, $175,000 in stakes, and then they can come back as a 3-year-old, same thing, split sex at $100,000. That's for the paces, and we've got to remember the trotters as well. So if you're in there and you're looking at the catalogue, I don't think you've got a trotter. No, you haven't, not knowingly anyway, because sometimes they come up the wrong way.
We do breed a few trotters, but they're mostly for Doug to race. Doug breeds a couple of trotters for himself, for his own interest. And Kenny Tippett gets most of them, and he's doing a great job with them down there in Melbourne at the moment.
So the trotting series is $62,500 for the 2-year-olds, and then for the 3-year-olds, they go up to $125,000 for, and again split sex, not combined, which is key. So and I think that's very key with these Nutrien race series. It's in its early stages, but it's going to be big. It's going to get bigger and bigger as it progresses.
Yeah, look, after early point discussions with Mark and the team, it was always their intention to crawl before you walk and walk before you run. There's things in the pipeline, I believe, that the Nutrien sale race day will become one of the biggest and the best in the country. So there's a lot to look forward to, and it's probably the time to get in now at the grassroots level before it becomes too big, and have horses that are eligible moving forward through that card.
I said I'm on my way to Tamworth. I know you went there last year, and I know you left there extremely blown away. It's something phenomenal and it's huge. 10 years ago it wasn't. That's what these people are able to do. They actually can grow things in a way that you haven't seen, like people don't see and can't, I suppose, picture.
Yeah, look, the Nutrien Classic up there at Alex just been phenomenal. It started off very similar to where we are. There was a group of vendors that wanted something different, thought that it could be better than what they were receiving, and they put together a plan and went to Nutrien, and they took it on board and they've run with it. And as you said, it's just exploded. You weren't there last year, and you'll be gobsmacked when you get there. Just the size of the whole thing, the camaraderie, the way it's put together, the professionalism that it runs with, it's astronomical.
The shit stirring you get via a phone message from the odd person too, like they sort of a bit of nah. Won't say anything about Brett Welsh or the likes, but it's dead set sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, look, we sat there with them last year. Craig Judd and myself were fortunate enough to go up and identify the key components of their sale and how they operate and whatever. And we met a lot of these guys, and they are fantastic, the whole lot of them. We had a great time there, talking to people and whatever. And Mark's done a great job. He's got a few of these people involved in a horse. Some of the bigger players in the performance horse market up there actually own shares in a trotter, or a pacer rather. So, look, he's hoping that pacer comes out and does a great job, and more of them get involved, because it's something that they identify. Being horse people, they identify with racing.
2 weeks ago I was at the Tumut camp draft, and I met a few of them, Simon Dodwell. There was a few others there, I can't remember all their names, and I'm looking at their faces and all the rest. Like, this is a camaraderie they get. They actually worked at Melbourne. They were a lot of the guys that were bunking people in, helping people out. Like there was, basically, come on, mate, I'll put you up. and come away for a weekend, and that's actually what they do, and they're excited. They're excited about the fact, this weekend, and then once it's over, they've got 2 sales to put up with, so they're actually all excited about it as well, which is really, really key. And we must say that too. Don't forget, looking through the Sydney catalogue, we want everyone to go to Sydney. We want 100% clearance rates. We want everything that way. Don't forget April 3rd in Melbourne as well for the vendors in Melbourne, because it is later, but I think it's key. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to see it there and go sit it out and say, rightio, we can wait for that one, but it is all key. I'm here to promote you as much as I am Nutrien. People want to come. You said some people have come and had an inspection. Definitely open for anyone coming.
Absolutely, yeah, just give me a call. My number's at the bottom of the page, all of our horses. Just give us a shout, come out anytime you want. It's no problem. Have a cup of tea or a sandwich or something at lunch and have a yearling inspection.
If I throw you under the bus here, that's okay, you can say. Do you know when you're going to be at Warwick Farm in Sydney? Do you have any idea?
We'll roll in very early Thursday morning.
Yep.
We find that we can load here in the middle of the night. We load at about 1 a.m. and the horses, we've got a loading system in the shed. They don't leave the shed to load, and in the dark they just walk on, and pretty much as quick as the truck drivers can back their trucks in, we've got them loaded and down the road we go. We get there before the sun comes up and the horses settle really well. We'll be washing on Thursday, but that doesn't mean anyone can come on Thursday. That'll be no problem. Friday we get ready for the parade again. Be there for inspections all day. Be there for inspections on Saturday, and bring your checkbook on Sunday.
We must say, make sure you register for your Auctions Plus and Nutrien. Some people say it's hard, other people it's easy. If you've registered before, it's going to be a walk in the park, but just remember you must register prior to it. But I think the one thing you did say there too, live parade, I will be streaming it, but there is going to be a live parade on the Friday night, and there'll be food and that afterwards. Hopefully this year I can get some instead of just talking, and now when I turn around to get something, they say, no, there's none left, Benny's eaten it all. So I'm like, but this is what it's about. I mean, it's a lot of fun. They learnt from Melbourne. We did the parade just prior to the sale commencing. That's not happening this year. There's going to be basically 2 days. So people will have plenty of time to see the parade and then go off and inspect the horses and inspect them on the Saturday as well.
That's right. And I think filming the parade is a key component of it, because those that can't get there for the Friday night can then watch it, identify the horses that they may or may not have had marked in the catalogue, and say, gee, that's a good sort, I better mark that one and go and look at it. And then they've got all day Saturday and a half day Sunday to do that before the sale starts.
And I think, from our point of view, learning, we'll try and give the horses that little bit longer time, because you can tease it out, but when you're trying to get through them, because you've got to sell horses straight after, you've got to keep it going. This way, we're not governed by time. It'll be governed by, promoting the horses and showing them and showcasing them properly. Yeah,
and the buyer gets an opportunity then to go between one and the other and sort of, identify which one they really want. People say to us, geez, it's such a big job to take 23 horses or 24 horses down there, but realistically, we take 24 there and they're trying to narrow it down to one.
Yep.
Out of 200 or so, or, so yeah, it's a big job to have them ready and get them there, and get them there safe and sound and well, and but yeah, realistically, it's the job's just as big for them to narrow it down to one or two that they want to buy.
It is indeed. D Miles, is he staying for the weekend? Like, is he coming for the Friday, staying the Saturday? Like, I mean, it'd be very hard to put up with.
He can find a lurk, can't he?
He'll do it. I wonder what silly hat he'll wear this time.
Loves a hat.
Well, he needs to. Have you ever seen what's going on underneath?
No comment.
He's in denial, that's for sure. I'm telling you, I wear a hat all the time because it is a solar plex up there. There's nothing up there. Dave, you're all getting very, very close. Benny, thank you very much for giving me a little bit of time. We're going to showcase that filly. We'll tease it out a little bit, but we want people to be able to come and have a look at them here on the farm. It's one thing I've listened to some of the best people like King talk to and all the rest. Clayton Tonkin's the best one. He'll look at them 2, 3, 4 times before they get to a sale. You just got to do it, because you just see them evolve and grow and change all the time, and it's an incredible thing. So I encourage everyone to come here and have a look at them at least once, if not twice. I mean, if you're in Bathurst, it's a no-brainer. Come at least 3 times. Have a good look at them. But if not,
come anytime. We're open. We're an open policy here. So if anyone does want to come and have a look at them, and whether it be, halfway through the year, it doesn't have to be sale time. If you just want to see foals in the paddock, identify them from there. A very, very astute buyer and larger owner, is often here doing exactly that.
Yep, I know a couple of people that do that. Then they say they don't say anything. They reckon they just keep it under their hats, and then they wait till they see them as a yearling and they give them a tick or a cross, and away they go. What's your phone number?
0438 683 280. if anyone wants to come out, just get on the blower and give us a call.
It's in the catalogue anyway if you haven't got it, but well done. I thought, I'll get him tongue-tied and twisted here. He won't remember his number, but it's a bit hard to get you tongue-tied and twisted, isn't it?
Occasionally it happens.
Benny, thank you very much. Really enjoyed it. Brooklyn Lodge, beautiful place. Come on a nice sunny day because there's plenty of shade, tree, the garden's sensational, and inspect some horses. As you said, you don't seriously parade them all the time through there, do you?
We haven't, yep.
You'll get shot.
No. Well, that's designed. That was the tennis court, and it was taken out specifically for the idea of being able to parade horses up here. People can sit around here under the trees and have a good look at them, you know. If you do come for the day, make sure you got plenty of time. The farm's pretty big. We're 1,700 acres, so it takes a while to get around the whole lot.
I ain't walking it.
I wouldn't expect you to.
I'm going to come back. I might come back before Bathurst or something like that. We'll do a bit of an on-farm thing as well and a bit of a tease out, you know, showcase what you've got. I am a little bit time poor today, but we'll definitely be doing something along those lines as well. Ben, thank you very much. As I said, Nutrien Equine sales the 20th of February at the Warwick Farm Complex for the Sydney sale, and then the Melbourne sale on the 3rd of April at Oaklands Junction. Again, we'll be ramping that one up right through, but don't forget both these sales are on the 20th of February and April the 3rd for Nutrien. Haven't got a catalogue, reach out to me. Go to nutrienequine.com.au. You can get the catalogues sent there, the online catalogues there. Everything's getting easier as you go. Make sure you register, get yourself prepared. Enjoy what's going to be a great weekend. Benny, thank you very much, mate.
Cheers, Paul. Thanks very much. Thanks, everyone.